Hello, guys. So, right now, I just want to talk about how people need to use their magic wisely during this time. Okay, I see some women wanting to use magic against police brutality, and by magic, of course, some people have their different practices or whatever, but magic doesn't always have to be candles and herbs and all of that stuff. Magic could be really using your imagination, to create a different world, using your mind, stuff like that, creative energy. It doesn't always have to be about candles and all that stuff. But I want to talk about why it's best to use your magic wisely, because I am seeing in this time right now the coronavirus COVID-19 was used to severely crash the economy, and then this thing right here, this civil unrest that's happening around this George Floyd situation is causing more problems to get what you need, right? A lot of places are closing down. If something happens to you, say if something happens to you and you might need to contact just a law office or just some kind of labor board, or say what else, whatever else that you might need, like you might need to talk to another professional about something. They might be closed down because of the civil unrest, and then you might need to get something done and there's hardly anybody to talk to. you know that could occur because there's no telling how all of this stuff is going on. So that's what I mean by use your magic in ways where um, it's going to come a time where you're going to probably need to speak to someone else who's a professional for something else you need for your household, uh, for maybe income, for your family, for your children, for your mother, something you might be taking care of your mother or something. You might be taking care of family members and all of these other out because the way the system is set up, and that's pretty much anywhere, you're going to need other people, but it's not helping with this civil unrest, and then you before that you had COVID-19, the coronavirus. It's not helping that these things are occurring and causing all these other businesses to close down, because that's the world that we know. Okay, we just can't do everything on our own, but it's getting to a place where we are going to have to realize that we are everything, and we are going to have to realize that we are God and we do create. I see this is where this is going now, that we have to realize we create everything. I know this might sound crazy right now, but I feel like that's what we are. I feel like that's what we are right now, because say if there's some kind of injustice done by you, by like maybe a client. I don't know if you have a stay-at-home job. Maybe some injustice done for you by you to you by maybe a job that you worked, so maybe some hours. Maybe you need to get your child or something, if you have children, some kind of care or something. Maybe you're waiting for something to come into the mail and there's something going on with the postal service because of unrest. They don't want to drive through the city. You see, a lot is going on to stop you from getting things. Not everybody might not be going through this right now. Okay, and that's, if you're not dealing with that, that's good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna stay in gratitude to not have to deal with things like that. But then you never know when the time comes. So I'm grateful, because right now things might be looking good, but you never know how things might look in the future, because the way you lived your life, you've worked with other people. You've worked with other people, right? You weren't just a lone ranger, and this is why I'm glad that I have been a lone ranger. It's not to say I haven't called other people, like if I need some services. See, that's the problem right now. If you need some kind of services done, a lot of these places are going to slowly but surely probably close down, especially in those main areas where the civil unrest continues to be bad. Okay, and some people that live a little bit more out of the city might not have it as bad, but at the same time, like I don't live in like Los Angeles. I left Los Angeles, so I don't live in like the city, but at the same time, I don't want to get too ahead of myself and still depend on other businesses, because all of us have depended on other businesses for what we need. The only group of people that have not depended on other businesses for what we need are those tribes that's living in the jungle. or the Sentinelese tribe, the Jawa tribe, and it's people, the ones living in Andaman Islands, which is, Sentinelese, and it's other ones. It's several other tribes. Those are the only groups that really do not need any other businesses for what they need, because they don't work, they don't go to school, they completely live by nature and live by spirit and live and listen to their ancestors. That's it. That's the only group that's really surviving without having to think about any businesses. But see, I know we like, you can plant, have your own food and stuff like that. But like, if you need something, if you have a question about your water bill, if you have a question about your electric, okay, who are you going to be able to contact? Because I see them using this as a way to probably cut off all the electricity too. You see what's going on right now? It's not happening right now to a lot of people, but it's going to eventually come. It's going to eventually come. Okay? So I don't want to get too, I'm not one to want to get too big head to think that just because it ain't looking crazy right now that it can't happen. So with that to say, it's time for us to get more, because a lot of us been meditating already. A lot of us been practicing whatever kind of magic you practice already. But now it's time for a lot of us to get into a position where we are the creator, and we are the creator of everything. That's the power it's time for us to give into, that we are the creator of all. It's getting to the point where there's no other choice but to see ourselves that way. It's getting to the point to see that we have to see ourselves that way, because everything around you is eventually closing down. Okay, if you need something, if your child gets sick, I don't have children, I'm just using an example. If your child gets sick, if your mother gets sick, if you need something, if your lights go off, if your water stop running, okay, because it's beyond, people talk about, well, get seeds and get a garden. It's beyond that if you don't know how to control your water. It's beyond that if you don't know how to control energy. Okay? So it's more to just getting seeds and planting a garden. Okay, that's a good part of it, but it's more to it than that. Okay, if you're not living like those tribes in nature, then everybody's in trouble. I don't care if they have a garden or not. Everybody's in trouble, unless you live somewhere way off grid, where your money supply can come from somewhere else. But it's to the point where you can't, even if it's they trying to get people to the point, I'm telling you, they trying to get people to the point where they can start passing out a universal basic income. That's what they're doing. They're going to eventually try to have people on a universal basic income. I'm looking at that right now. Okay? But the problem with universal basic income, nobody will be poor, but they're going to control how you spend your money. They're going to completely control how you spend your money. But I'm looking at things right now, and this is where things are going. Like, they trying to break everybody. Because think about the people who are having good money right now. Eventually, it's going to still run out for them in the next 2 years, 3 years, because their income could be depending on other people to pay for their services. If they have like some kind of home-based job, right? Their income is still depending on other people to spend their money. But if other people are losing their jobs, other people are losing their businesses, then that money is not going to keep rolling in if other people cannot pay for services. Okay? So with that being said, it's time to use our magic for something better. It's some people using their magic because they're angry at the police. That is a dumb way to use your magic. If you want justice for something that happened in your family, then try to get justice for something that happened in your family and not for George Floyd. This man is probably lying to everybody. I suspect that this man didn't die in that hospital. I suspect that he didn't die that day. Okay, but everybody is wanting to use all kind of magic up against the police for this guy who they don't even know. We don't even know if the person that we saw on camera is really somebody named George Floyd. Okay, people are being played, but see, I just want to put this message out there because I just felt like talking about it. But with that being said, I will talk to you later.